Thanks very much, everyone, for joining me once again. Another painful day for Pakistan cricket, I'm afraid. Heavy defeat to Australia, as expected, really. Last 15 Test matches in Australia have resulted in losses. 28 years since Pakistan last won a Test match, 1995 in Sydney, when the bowling attack consisted of Wasim Akram, Waqar Yunus, Saqlain Mushtaq, and Mushtaq Ahmed. As they say, Jane kaha gahe wo din. These guys currently playing for Pakistan are nowhere near the class of, obviously, those greats. But, at the end of the day, Pakistan have some self-blame there, really. Let's do a quick review of the match. I mean, expectations were low going into this Test match. I don't think many people expected Pakistan to compete with Australia and to challenge them. And a draw would have been a fantastic achievement if Pakistan had managed to achieve that. But if we look at the match and look at where Pakistan went wrong, there are a number of situations and areas that Pakistan could have done better and could have improved upon and will need to improve upon, excuse me, going into the next match. Day one ended with Australia on 346 for 5. Tough first day for Pakistan. I thought the bowlers got the line wrong, they got the lengths wrong, and they struggled. Two debutants, pretty much what you would expect. I think a bowler, a pace bowler, especially going into a Test series in Australia, if you've not got that experience of having played in Australian conditions in Test cricket, you are going to find it tough. Yes, the pitch did offer something for the bowlers, but there was no consistency at all with the bowlers. But, if you look at day two, they pulled it back. I mean, just touching upon day one as well, Pakistan's fielding was very lackluster. They dropped chances. You can't drop chances against any team, never mind Australia. You give the likes of Usman Khwaja and David Warner lifelines, they are going to hammer you. They're going to make you pay. They will make you suffer because every time you give them a chance, they're going to make the most of it. Great players do that. Average players don't make the best of those opportunities. So from 346 for 5, day two saw Australia reach 487 all out. So Pakistan did okay. 487 is a big first innings total. 140 for 5 or so. Pakistan pulled that back. Ahmed Jamal deserves some credit. He bowled with heart. He bowled with decent pace, and he gave absolutely everything. So 6 wickets on debut is a fantastic achievement for him. Pakistan finished day two on 133 for 2. Now that's a good position. Imam al-Haq was there. Yeah, they lost Shan Masood late on, which was a massive blow. Who knows what might have happened if Shan Masood had still been there at the end of day two. But 133 for 2, Pakistan were in the game. They had a fighting chance, as I say, of drawing this match, of actually competing, putting a little bit of pressure on the Australians. So even if they'd got up to 400 in that first innings, it would have been competitive because they would have only been 87 runs behind Australia and definitely in the match. But in true Pakistani style, in true Pakistan cricket style, they collapsed and handed the game on a plate to Australia. So from 133 for 2, they went to 271 all out. So what's that? 138 runs for the last 8 wickets. Pakistan are notorious for collapses, and this was another horrible collapse. Got to give credit to the Australian bowlers. They bowled in the right areas. They gave Pakistan absolutely nothing. The only criticism I'd say of Pakistan in that first innings of 271 all out is their defensive approach. It took them 101 overs, 101.5 overs to reach 271 runs. You've got to be scoring quicker than that. The outfield's fast, and you do get scoring opportunities. There's no bowling attack in this world ever that has not given a team scoring opportunities. And I just felt Pakistan went into their shell. They went too defensive. They were too worried about the opposition. They gave the opposition too much respect. And, you know, guys like Imam ul Haq could have scored quicker. He didn't seize upon those loose deliveries. And some of the other batters, they got in 20s and 30s and then threw it away. Number of poor shots by the Pakistani batters, resulting in 271 all out. When you're in that defensive mindset, then even when the bad balls come, you don't make that opportunity. You don't make the most of those bad deliveries. So it's all about, you know, that mental approach, that attitude, that positive approach. If Pakistan had been a little bit more positive in that first innings, then, as I say, who knows, 350, 400, they might have been in the game. But just to reiterate, 20s and 30s are not going to hurt the opposition. You need to score those hundreds. Look at the likes of Usman Khawaja. Look at the likes of Mitch Marsh, David Warner. 160 or so, made the most of that opportunity. He lifted the Australian batting. The other players played around him. And, you know, when he got in, he made sure that he got that 100 and didn't give it away after scoring that 100. As I say, fantastic effort from him, 164, which was obviously a very important innings for the context of this test match. So day three, as I say, Pakistan 271 all out. Australia finished on 84 for 2. The match was gone, wasn't it? You know that Australia are going to declare at some point on day 4 today and then put Pakistan back in. That's exactly what happened. 89 all out. Shambles. Yes, the wicket was a bit up and down, uneven bounce, but 89 all out for a team with that batting lineup, with batting supposedly all the way down to number 8, 9. They packed the batting. I'll come to the team selection in a minute, but yeah, you're facing Stark, Hazelwood, Cummins, and Lyon. Lyon, by the way, congratulations to Nathan Lyon, 500 Test wickets. 8th bowler who's reached that milestone. Fantastic achievement. What a career. What a bowler. But as I say, 89 all out. What were they doing? Of course, you got the comedy run out, which Pakistan cricket is famous for. We always manage to do at least one comedy run out, don't we? Just to keep the fans entertained and to provide a little bit of comedy. So yeah, really poor performance overall. And if we look at the fielding, I thought it was laboured. The Australian outfields are big, the grounds are big, so they test the fielders. Any weaknesses, any flaws in your fielding, you get found out. Some of the catches that were dropped in this test match by Pakistan were shambolic. They weren't difficult chances. You've got to take your chances against Australia. As I was saying, these great players, they will make you pay. Never mind if it's a 50-50 chance or a 75-25 chance, you've got to take those opportunities and make the most of them. Pakistan didn't. They made those mistakes in the field and they paid for them. The batting, I mean, I've touched upon it earlier in this video, but I just thought the approach was too defensive. You know, once you've got in, once you've got your 20, 30 runs, you're settled, you've adjusted to the pace of the wicket, you've just adjusted to the conditions. Look to be a little bit more positive, look to rotate the strike, seize upon those bad deliveries. You get very few against this great Australian bowling lineup, but you've got to make the most of it. Time and again, Pakistan received those poor deliveries and they didn't make the most of it. Those 4 balls, so many were hit either to a fielder or just not timed properly. You've got to make the most of it. Australia make you pay insofar as any loose deliveries, they were seizing upon them. So I'd like to see a more positive approach from Pakistan in the next test match. As I say, 271 from 101.5 overs and then 89 from 30 overs. So Pakistan batted 131.5 overs and they scored, what, 360 runs? It's not even 3 and over, really, is it? It needs improving upon. And as I say, too many 20s, too many 30s, too many players getting in and not making the most of that opportunity. Once you're settled into that crease, once you've adjusted to conditions, then you have to make the most of it. And the Pakistani players just did not do that. The bowling, I've mentioned Amir Jamal earlier on. He took 6 wickets in his first innings. And then I mentioned for Khurram Shahzad, yeah, he's not the quickest, But 5 wickets on debut was a decent performance. Fahim Ashraf. Okay, let's move on from Fahim Ashraf's bowling because I've got really nothing good to say about it. Shaheen Shah Afridi. This is a guy who was bowling 150 kph not so long ago. Now, 130 kph. What's happened? We know he suffered injuries. Yes, he's just come to Australia on the back of a World Cup. Probably not 100% fit. But what is he doing there? If he's not 100% fit, then why is he being selected? Why are we picking a bowler who isn't 100% fit? Yep, he's a linchpin. We need him in the team. But if he's not fully fit, then why pick him? Pick somebody else. Play one of the other guys. Play Amir Hamza, Hassan Ali, if they're 100% fit. We don't have to pick Shaheen Shah Afridi. It's no point bowling 130 kph. You're playing for Pakistan. You're wearing that star of Pakistan on your cap, on your shirt. You've got to give 100%. No point saving it for the Pakistan Super League. Nobody gives a damn when you're taking wickets for the Pakistan Super League if you're not performing for Pakistan. So, that's something that needs to be looked at. If he's not 100% fit, do not pick the guy because he looked laboured in this test match. And 2 wickets for what, 182 runs? That's pathetic. Team selection. You've got to look at that team selection. I know it's easy to say afterwards when Pakistan are being hammered, but, well, Mohammad Rizwan, why wasn't he picked? 177 runs in 4 innings in Australia in Test cricket. He averages over 40 against Australia in Test cricket. Yet he sat there warming the bench, bringing the drinks on when so many of the Pakistani batters struggled. Fahim Ashraf. I don't want to pick on the guy because he's a genuinely nice guy. Met him a few times and he's a gentleman. He's a really nice guy. But you can't pick bits and pieces cricketers who perform once in a while in white ball cricket for Test cricket. Test cricket is the ultimate test. That's why it's called Test cricket. And it's a test of a player's abilities. It's a test of players' fitness. And I'm afraid Fahim Ashraf is just not up to Test cricket, especially in Australia. He struggled recently with bat. He struggled with the ball. He doesn't look the best in the field. And one has to wonder why he was picked. You could have played an extra batsman. And what is the point of picking him when he's obviously struggling and not up to Test cricket? Salman Ali Aga, yeah, you can say he's okay for Test cricket in Asian conditions, but he's going to be tested out here in Australia. He's going to be tested with when he's batting. His bowling, he did okay. He held one end up. So you could probably give him another opportunity. But I think Pakistan need to look at their selection for the next Test match. They've got a 2-day warm-up match, 2-day practice match coming up against a pretty strong Australian 11. So hopefully they can make the most of that. But it looks like it's going to be more pain in the upcoming Test matches. Let's hope the conditions are a little bit more favourable and Pakistan, having played this Test match and another practice match under the belt, will be a little bit more adjusted to conditions. But overall, I thought it was a very disappointing performance by Pakistan against a battle-hardened, tough opponent, but Pakistan could and should have done a lot better. Thanks very much for watching. Watch out for the next video. Thanks.